So today I'll be teaching you how to deal with bad teammates. Now, we've all had to deal with bad teammates, whether that's teammates who are just simply not good enough ability-wise, or teammates who just get on your nerves, like attitude-wise, mentality-wise. So we've all had to deal with them. So today I'm going to be teaching you how to deal with bad teammates, how to sort of navigate that sort of issue on your team, so you don't go into every game frustrated. When you see that guy coming onto the pitch with you, you don't get frustrated. You don't feel like, oh, I don't want to play now. Like, oh, you might be the left back and your left wing, and you don't like your left wing, and you're thinking, oh, why is this guy playing in front of me? Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe you're the right winger and you just don't trust the right back behind you, and you're just thinking, "Oh my days, I don't want to play with this guy. I know he's gonna do some stupid shit." But today I'll be telling you how to navigate having bad teammates on your team, and just making sure it doesn't destroy your team chemistry, doesn't destroy your morale, not only your morale, but the other teammates' morale as well. Just basically just doesn't destroy team chemistry and team morale. And the first point is something. The first point sort of goes against what I believe should happen, but I feel like when you're younger, people don't respond well to direct criticism. Now, normally when you get to a certain age, like I would say like 16, 17, 18, in my opinion, the best way to just address the teammate is just direct criticism. Literally just tell him what he needs to do. If he's not passing the ball, literally just say, yo, bro, pass the ball, like you're being greedy. But I feel like when you're sort of younger, 10, 11, 12, I feel like people don't respond sort of well to that sort of direct criticism, especially when you're one of them teams where parents are really involved in the team. It's kind of like you just can't really be direct about it, because if let's say you're like 10, 11, 12, even 13, and you directly call your teammate shit, you're just like, bro, this guy is shit, like, can you actually fix up? You know what's gonna happen from there. He's gonna get upset. He's gonna start crying. He's gonna tell his parents about the thing. His parents are gonna tell the coach, and then it just ends up getting messy between this player's parents and this player's parents. Now they don't like each other, and now the coach is under pressure because the coach likes this parent. The coach is friends with this parent, but not really friends with it. It just gets messy at the end of the day. So if you're like I said, if you're sort of at the younger stages, the early stages of your development, literally, I would just say for dealing with a bad teammate, I literally say, when you're criticizing them, don't what's it called? Don't label them as like a negative trait. Just basically just focus on improvement. And what I mean by this is, like, you don't have to directly go up to your teammate and be like, bro, you're so greedy, you never pass the ball. Because with that, people, especially younger players, they just get defensive about it. Nothing good's ever really gonna come from that. If you just go up to your team and be like, bro, this you're so greedy, you don't pass the ball. What's he gonna do? He's not really gonna, look within himself and be like, alright, cool, maybe he's right. He's just immediately gonna get defensive. He's just immediately gonna be like, no, no, you're lying, or he's gonna literally just flip it back on you. He's gonna be like, nah, you're shit, and then you two just end up bickering, and nothing actually ends up getting solved. So instead, you can literally just focus on like the improvement bit, and literally just be like, alright, bro. Basically, just saying a softer tone, in my opinion. You could be like, bro, I love the fact that you're direct, you're positive, you're dribbling, you're taking on your man, but we need you to release the ball. There are times where the striker's free. We need you to release it. You can do that. You can do those one or two step overs, but as soon as you beat the man, you don't have to beat him again. Literally, just put in the cross. The striker's there, the opposite winger's there, the midfielder coming from deep, he's there, and basically just say in a softer tone. Basically just saying a softer tone. I know, like I said, me personally, I'm very direct. Like, I like the team coaches where the players are just very direct. If you're not passing the ball, they'll tell you, yo, you're not passing the ball. If you're not tracking back, they're gonna say, yo, bro, you're fucking lazy. Like, track back. It's not good enough. But however, like I said, for the guys who are like 13, 14, 11, 12, that sort of directness doesn't really work. Now there might be a team where the coach has sort of trained the young players up to be able to deal with this type of criticism, and I think that's a good thing. But on most teams, that's not really the case. On most teams, the coaches are they're really soft on the players. They don't wanna shout at the players, especially with all the parents on the sideline watching. They don't want to shout at a player and then ruin their relationship with a parent, and then things get messy. They don't really want to do that. So in my opinion, that's the first point. At least you don't label someone as like a bad characteristic. Don't just go up to them and call them shit. Don't just go up to them and just say they're greedy directly. Literally just say a good thing that they did, but then also tell them that, yo, but we need you to do this, but we need you to do this though. If someone's being lazy, literally just go up to them and be like, yo, bro, you provide a lot attacking wise, but there are times we need you to track back. Let's say it's a center midfielder. You'll just tell him, yo, bro, I get, you know what I'm saying, you're providing passes for the striker, you know, you're retaining the ball well, but bro, we need you to track back. Like we need you to track back. You're leaving massive gaps in the center of the park, and the CDM behind you, he can't mark three players. So we need you to, you know what I'm saying, we need you to up your work rate, need you to track back. And in my opinion, like I said, this point is mainly for young players, but in my opinion, this is probably the most effective way to communicate with a bad teammate, communicate what you want from that bad teammate. Last thing as well, when I'm talking about this point, I'm talking about this. You can do this before or after either a training session or a match, because I do get, when you're in the heat of the battle, you don't have time to give a full explanation of like, oh bro, can you please pass the ball because we need you to because the striker's free, blah blah blah. Obviously, I know in the heat of the moment, you have to give clear, concise instructions. You just have to shout to the player, yo, pass the ball quicker, do this, do that. Because like I said, when you're in the heat of the battle, the game is so quick. You don't really have time to, give a full explanation of why you want this to be done, why you want this to be done. Things just have to be done quick. So I just want to make it clear for that point that I'm talking about after and before and after games, before and after training sessions, because like I said, I do understand in the heat of the battle, you're not trying to give a whole essay or an explanation of why your teammate should pass the ball or why your teammate needs to track back. Like I said, in the heat of the moment, you just have to give clear and concise instructions. But definitely definitely use this approach before and after training, before and after games. And also I feel like they'll be more receptive before, especially before, because before, they've come in to train or come into the game, they're in a good mood, nothing's really happened yet, you know what I'm saying? Nothing's really happened yet, so they'll probably be way more receptive to your advice, rather than during the game, especially during a game where you're not playing well. They're just going to be frustrated. They're going to have negative emotions, so they're probably not going to be as receptive to your advice. So definitely, I would advise before or after the game, before or after the training session, but before is definitely before is definitely the best, because you can give them advice and then they hopefully they'll take it into the match. They'll actually apply your advice once you get into the match. They'll actually remember what you said. So that's the first point. Next off, I kind of touched on it in the first point, but it's literally just to have just make sure there's a healthy balance between you praising that player and you actually criticizing that player. I say this because if you just constantly just criticize him, one, that's gonna actually damage his confidence, and I don't think that's gonna do anyone any good. But number two, he might just see that teammate that you keep criticizing, even though the criticism is worth it, he's just gonna see you as a complainer. He's just gonna become numb to your advice. Eventually, he's gonna be thinking, "Oh, why should I even listen to this guy? Like, all he does is complain. He never says I do anything good. When I scored the goal the other day, he didn't pray. He didn't say anything. But anytime I give the ball away, he's always on my case. Like, you don't want that to happen, because I've seen that happen so many times where you try criticize a player, or another one of my teammates will criticize another player, and then the player getting criticized, he would literally just say, all you do is moan, like you never say anything good, like you're just bad for team morale, you're just bad for team chemistry, you never praise anyone, you're just a complainer. And as soon as they have labeled you as a complainer, as soon as that bad teammate has said, "Oh, no, all you do is complain," they're not really going to take on your advice. Even if it might be good advice you're giving them, even if it might genuinely help their game, they're still just going to see you as the guy who's always complaining. So, in my opinion, criticize them, make sure they're doing their job, but also when they do something good, make sure you actually praise them and tell them, yo, you did this good. If they put in a good cross, if they make a great challenge, if they, like I said, if they win a header, if they score a goal, get an assist, literally just make sure that just make sure you praise them, because if you have a good balance between the two, they'll actually take your words seriously. They'll actually look at it and be like, all right, cool, this guy, he's criticizing me, but I know that he's not just a complainer, he's not just moaning, and he's actually, and that bad teammate is actually going to be like, all right, cool. So This guy praises me when I do good, but he also, gives me criticism when I do bad. So his word must be, say his words must be true. Like he must be actually doing this for the betterment of the team and not just, to complain, to put other players down. So that's the next point. Literally, just make sure you get that healthy balance between praise and so, towards praise and criticism. And then the last point is literally make sure you're doing your job as well, because we all know you can't be the guy telling everyone to do this, do that, do this, but you're never doing it. You can't be telling other players to track back when you're the laziest player on the team. You can't be telling people to release the ball, but when you get the ball, you want to do 50 step overs, you want to do 20 Ronaldo chops, and you want to do 5 body things. Like it doesn't work like that. And also another thing as well, this is not also doing your job on the pitch, but in my opinion, being competent as well, because we've all had that scenario where things might not be going well, and then or things might be going good, but then somebody gives you advice, but it's the bench warmer giving you advice, and he's trying to tell you, "Alright, cool, you need to do this, you need to do that." And be honest, when he's trying to give people advice, you just look at this guy and you're like, bro, you play 5 minutes a game, like pipe down, calm yourself down. Like in my opinion, if you're it's always, if the worse of a footballer you are, the less you get to have a say on team tactics and team decisions, because we've all seen a time where there might be a player saying he might get up, he might grab the coach's clipboard, he might say, "Oh, we need to do this tactic, we need to do this tactic," but then everyone's looking at it like, "Bro, why is this guy piping up? Like, why is this guy talking? He plays 5 minutes, he comes on the last 5 minutes every single game. Like he's not the guy." So in my opinion, you need to make sure you're doing your job, and also you're a competent player. Because I feel like I said, if you're a bench warmer, or you're a guy who's a quote unquote hypocrite who tells people to do stuff that you don't do, that you don't do yourself, then then people are just not going to take you seriously at all. They're not going to take on your advice. Like I said, it might be even good advice. You might be correct in that situation, but simply because you don't do your job, or you're not a competent footballer yourself, people aren't really going to take it that seriously. Like it's very rare that the leader is like the worst footballer on the pitch. Like I've personally never seen that. I've personally never seen you know one of the worst footballers being one of the leaders, because when you're one of the worst players, you just don't garner that same sort of respect, especially when you're younger. Because I feel like when you're a younger player, people don't appreciate. In the first team, there might be a guy who never plays, but he's got experience, and people are mature enough to actually see, okay, this guy might be older, he might not play as many games as he once did, and he's got experience, so we need to listen to him. But when you're younger, you're all the same age. Like you're all the same age. So, and when you're younger, there's a clear pecking order. It's literally just down to ability. Who's the best? Who's the second best? And who's the worst? So if you're down there and you're the worst player, in my opinion, you need to work on that. You need to work on getting into your starting 11, or if you're even if you're younger, you're starting 7, starting 9, starting 11. Get into that starting 11. Once you get there, do your job, and then from there, literally, your word will be taken way more seriously. Your teams will take your words and your advice much more seriously, because for example, back in like the late 90s and the early 2000s. Imagine you have players like Roy Keane, Paul Scholes, Dwight York, Andy Cole, David Beckham, Yap Stam, Schmeichel. And then you have all these ballers, all these superstars. Ruud Van Nistelrooy came in, Varane came in for Man United, and then you just get a guy like Gary Neville trying to pipe up every single time. They're gonna be looking at this guy like, bro, shut up. They're gonna be looking at him like, yo, calm down. Imagine Gary Neville, starts shouting at everyone, starts getting in everyone's faces. First of all, Roy King will look at this guy and just give him one bang to the face like that, like simply because Gary Neville's not the guy. Because it's even been said that, Patrick Vieira even said that, we saw Gary Neville as the weakest link. And once your opponents see you as the weakest link, your teammates are going to be looking at you crazy if you try, get in their faces, trying to criticize them, trying to give you advice when you're clearly known as the weakest link on the team. So, just an example like that. You need to make sure that, if you're giving advice to people, if you're criticizing people, that you're taking your exact same advice. You can't be telling people to run, chase back when you're lazy yourself. You can't be telling people to pass the ball quicker when you're holding on to the ball for too long. So that's all I got to say for this vid. I hope you enjoyed. I've been JT, and I'm out.